I think we'll just be waiting for our co-hosts of the day to arrive. Just talked to him a few minutes ago. I'm sure it'll be no problem. But what is going on, Dexter fam? Welcome to x402SDAY, where we'll be talking about last week and next week and everything in between on x402, including the big one, x402V2, and what it means for Dexter and everyone else. Oh yeah. So also going to be talking about Breakpoint and a big something that I'll tell you about at the end. And then also we got a one soul giveaway that we'll be doing at the end. And it's going to be a little bit shorter, about a half hour instead of an hour, because we've got at 2:45 big Coinbase presentation on how to do certain something x402 that a lot of people are going into, including myself. So we're going to just cut it a little bit short today, but a lot of things to cover. So still waiting for the co-hosts, but I just got back from Abu Dhabi and boy, are my arms tired. Boy, are my arms tired. Laugh. Thank you. And it was tremendous. All these bull posts that you're seeing about Breakpoint, absolutely correct. I mean, it was absolutely a tremendous event. And next year in London, I'm sure we'll be there bigger and badder and better than ever. Ben is here. Invite Ben to the stage. Ben has had quite the week. Approve. I got it. GM Ben. Did it work? As you guys know, Ben was our first guest for x402SDAY last week. And since then, he's launched Jobs, doing tremendously well. I'm sure you've seen it. And I have an announcement to make about that, but not to keep it anticlimactic. I'll just tell you that I am adding Dexter resources that are specifically geared towards the Jobs engine to x402.jobs. I love the idea, as I said last week, and to anybody who would listen. So we're going to start composing our workflows on x402jobs and where it matters, where people want them. So I'm making some ones that are specific for x402jobs. We've got 4 on there so far, some for analyzing Twitter, the on-chain activity and entity tools, which are obviously so popular, and a meme generator. So it's a start, but I really would like to see what other workflows people want to see and get them in here, including one that I want to announce today, a new capability that's coming to Dexter this afternoon that does not exist yet on x402. And that is private pay. Yes, private pay, anonymous sending, anonymous receiving, anonymous buying, anonymous selling. So that has been very hot lately. Privacy is all the rage because, as you guys can imagine, nobody wants their transactions broadcast to the world, except for people who use Venmo and whatnot. But with the advent of AI being able to just analyze everything you're doing in a heartbeat, privacy is going to be becoming even more powerful than ever. So we are bringing private pay, private transactions to Dexter. Things are going to start becoming natively private by default. But for now, it'll be its own dedicated x402 resource. So you'll be able to privately send and receive Solana with, I think it's a 0.035% fee. It's practically nothing. It's just to keep the lights on for a provider. So that's going to be awesome. I think that might be becoming our most popular resource very soon. So that'll also be listed on x402jobs, x402scan. So that means anything else that's on x402jobs should be able to detect as a resource the private sending and use it and just plug it right in. Oh, I think we've got x402jobs on stage, and we've got a new speaker, Vivek, coming up. But x402jobs, welcome.
Hi, branch manager 69. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
My brother, how's it going? I'm very sorry about that. I switched browsers. I don't know what happened. But I'm here. Glad you can hear me. All right, so quick intro. I'm Ben. I'm also known as Raw Ground Beef. It's a bit of a mouthful. Feel free to just call me Ben. I am the developer of MemePuter and x402jobs. I've been working in the yeah. Thank you. Please. Thank you. I loved your intro joke, and these sounds are amazing. The production quality is going up week by week. I can tell. So this is great. Yeah. So I've been working in the agent space for, I don't know, 6 months, which is just like, it's like 6 years in the agent space. It's very new and open. Lots of people building interesting things. And when you throw x402 in the mix, things become a little bit more crazy and new at the same time. So just a bit about MemePuter. It's a place for building autonomous agents. You can give an agent knowledge, personality, commands, and a wallet, and deploy it into X, Telegram. You can give it a phone number, and all its commands and personalities are endpoints on x402. And so, yeah, you can use it to run agents that post, respond, transact, act on your behalf across multiple services, define ones, deploy everywhere, kind of thing. And as we were building MemePuter, and integrating into x402 and exploring the space, we realized something important. You can build resources and put them into the composer on x402 Scan, for instance, and there will be other tools that emerge like x402jobs. But you know, at the time when we built x402jobs, you could like put a bunch of tools in NPC style and like let the agent reason about stuff and hope that it gets it right, but you don't have like a way to do deterministic workflows. And that's what I wanted. I did this hackathon for Solana, and somehow won best agent pay. I don't know how. It wasn't even that good. There were a lot of really good entries there, but somehow I squeaked in there and won. And one of the partner tracks. So won like $10 or something like that. But it was a fun experiment, right? I was doing it just to see what was out there and what I could build. And I built this thing called Market Pewter, which is like a very orchestrated deterministic workflow where you do one thing and then the next and the next and the next, and all the agents sort of pay each other in concert and work together. So one agent grabs the like trending topics for the day or whatever, and the other one grabs like fix the best one. The other one sort of like creates a creative angle for it, and then so on and so forth. You generate an image, you generate a bunch of captions for it. There's like 15 steps, and I wanted a way to like repeat that, and I came across x402 Scan, and people were just, hey, like put your resources in x402 Scan, and so I did, and tried to use their composer, and I was just like, oh man, this isn't like not a like it can't make Market Pewter like with a surface that I could pass off to a friend and say, hey, plug in your information and make a market like a meme ready post for your X, which is what Market Pewter does. It's like a marketing agent basically. And so I set out to build this thing where you could like have a workflow, right? Like sort of like N8N or Zapier or like others that you can like take these boxes and put them together and call them, and they have this, this deterministic somewhat output of like start here, then this, then this, then this. And I felt like this was really cool because it was something that was sort of missing from the x402 landscape, right? Like, there's a bunch of resources on x402 Scan, but no way to chain them together. So a job, and that felt like a job to me. It felt like if you were to like pass off a task to a person and say, do this, this, and this, and this every day, create me a GM post every day, for instance, go find what's trending, the meta, and tie it in, and create an image on ChatGPT or something, and then like post it, right? That's a job, right? That's what we use agents for. But you can't do that with MCP. You can't just plug a bunch of tools in and hope it works. Sometimes it's going to work, but not always, right? So we needed something structured, right? So a job is like a structured workflow that can be called by humans or agents. It can be run on demand. It can be run on a schedule, or it can be run via some URL. And that's kind of when the magic hit me. It was like, oh, I was implementing the workflow for URLs. And I'm like, well, wait a second. This costs money. And then I was like, oh, duh, like every job is an X402 resource. And so that's, that was the light bulb moment for me. And that's sort of the like the genesis of X402 jobs. It's and what makes it compelling, I think, is that, and that it's open and agent native. There's no vendor lock-in. So all these different tools that you see that have these deterministic workflows, like the ones I mentioned before, are great, but they rely on users, employees or the company to create, or partners to come in and create tools for you. And you have to wait on them. And so we have barely any like internal tooling, right? Like we have some outputs that will output to Telegram or X or something like that. But for the most part, you can do whatever you want as long as the resources are there. So there's no vendor lock-in. Anyone can publish resources. Anyone can compose jobs, and agents can directly call and pay for them. And that combination just doesn't exist today. And I saw a lane, and I jumped in and tried to fill it. And so I think this thing has legs. We'll see. I was encouraged by people like Branch Manager 69 who actually called me personally and asked me to come talk on the show here today, and then in the first show as well. And I basically, I think I fit it all in. Essentially, me and Peter builds agents, and X402 Jobs defines the work that they do, and one can exist without the other. Me and Peter definitely feeds that system, and if you use either of those tools, products, please let me know if you have feedback, feature requests, complaints, whatever. Hop in the Telegram, DM me, whatever you want, and I'm happy to answer questions, fix things, apologize, and help.
Well, that's awesome. So let me try to remember all the important things that you said. So first of all, the concept of jobs came up pretty early on in the development of Dexter, where we had the short run processes and then long run jobs where a process is just too long, even beginning at a meme generation, and where the agent is not going to wait for it. So the concept of jobs was immediately one that spoke to me as an X402 developer, and I knew that with your expertise on composability from me and Peter, that you'd put out something awesome. And clearly you have, and a lot of people are interested in it. So kudos to you. And I really want to talk to you a lot more about how we can put our resources out specifically for your workflow process. And Vivek, I'm trying to get you up. Let me see if this works this time. Vivek is from x402Disputes, and it's not showing yet, but I'm going to keep on trying. So we're going to work with you we're going to work with you guys very closely. I'm looking forward to that. OOBE, welcome.
Hello. I haven't got long, but thanks for having me up anyway. I thought I'd hop in and I'd come speak just about a little bit about what OOBE is, and well, most recent, X402 implementation. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm K6. I'm the COO and co-founder at OOBE. Essentially, we're building an on-chain AI agent infrastructure, and one of our core pieces to this is Synapse RPC. What's relevant for this space, obviously, is the recent update we pushed around X402. So we've essentially shipped our X402 Explorer, which indexes and visualizes real-time micropayments flowing through Pay AI currently. We hope to expand this to Dexter, so I will be in contact with you, Branch, hopefully. So every pay-per-call payment and every resource, every merchant is fully transparent and auditable on-chain. The most important part to this isn't just payments, it's visibility. So builders can now see exactly how agents are consuming services, where their revenue is coming from, how usage scales over time, and it is this completely without relying on off-chain dashboards or just trusting it and assuming it's going to be okay. I feel like personally it's a big step towards agents being first class economic actors, which is sort of where the ecosystem's going. They execute, they pay per use. The entire flow is verifiable end to end. Obviously, I'm mainly here to listen because I want to hear what updates you guys have. But I'm excited to see how you guys approach agents in this context, because that's where real, sustainable agent economies start to form, and we've got a lot of room for growth, like you said on our space.
Yeah, and I'm still trying to conceptualize exactly how we can work together, but I know that there's an opportunity somewhere, somehow. In fact, I think about RPC a lot because when when you're a facilitator, you absolutely have to have 100% uptime, 100% success rate. So the RPC has to be reliable, top notch. And if you're going to build specifically for that purpose, then I think that's awesome. And I'm sure we can find a way to work it in because we have a point, let's say, I don't know, 0.1% failure rate because of an RPC, I'm sure. But let's make that 0.0001. So awesome. And I think that we have Vivek up now from x402Disputes. Vivek, my guy, we were just there shaking hands 8,000 miles away from where I am right now. How are you doing?
Hey Dexter, hey everyone. Thanks for having me on, and excited to be on this Twitter space. A little bit about me. I'm actually working on x402Disputes, which is a refund and dispute solution for any and all payments occurring on x402. So thank you for the introduction, Dexter. And it was lovely to see you in Abu Dhabi. I actually just returned this morning, super jet lagged, but I'm very excited to be on this Twitter space. I also got some feedback from x402jobs and raw ground beef as to how critical it is. The stuff that I'm working on is. And I hope to onboard all of you soon. Like, whoever wants a dispute and refund solution for your agents. I the first step I'm going to work on is the refund solution where agents can automatically file disputes and receive refunds, and the V2 would be basically writing all those disputes and refund data on chain. And I think I've been looking into ERC 8004 if anybody else is looking into it. But essentially, ERC 8004 is this reputation mechanism that the Ethereum Foundation is developing, and I'm actually quite surprised as to why Ethereum Foundation is actually so aggressively pushing ERC 8004. And they just came up with another ERC today. I forgot what it was called. 3071, but I'm not so sure if that's the one. But yeah. So and what ERC 8004 says is your agent is going to have numerous identities, numerous wallets across numerous chains, but the root identity of the agent should live on Ethereum and is minted on Ethereum. So it seems like Ethereum is kind of sort of getting desperate, and maybe they see that Solana is coming and Solana is coming at them really fast. So but yeah, especially when I just returned from Breakpoint today, and when I was at Breakpoint, the enthusiasm about Solana, and it was just insane. Like everybody I know is now building on Solana. And I think AIXBT also talked about it. Like earlier this month, within the course of a week, 85% of volume on x402 moved to Solana. So yeah, excited to be building on Solana. I think I'll be writing the refund and dispute data on chain on Solana. I was initially thinking of writing it on Base, maybe, but then I mostly wanted to write it on Base because that's where most of the activity was. But now that it's on Solana and it's also cheaper, to write it on Solana than it is on Base or Ethereum or any other chain for that matter. I've been looking into like Scale Network, but which is like a gasless blockchain. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. If anybody has any questions, happy to help. And x402jobs, Dexter, and everybody else, I'm still developing the solution, and it should be ready within a week. I do have a basic V1 up and running, but I don't want to onboard you guys just yet. But that's kind of where I'm at, and thank you.
Absolutely. Well, whenever you and your team are ready, we are ready to try anything experimental because we want to support the builders in the space. And some of these are truly awesome. I mean, from the dispute system, which is truly ahead of its time, to thinking at the RPC level, and then to a drag and drop workflow builder. I think all of our heads are in the right place. And I do want to talk a little bit about Dexter's upgrades as well and where we fit into that. So obviously we've got many different transports, right? We talked about, well, right now the count is 7. We've got, boom, Dexter Voice, which is the voice agent, real-time voice model. A little bit different than all the rest. We've got the X, Telegram, and Alexa, which round out the custom agentic interfaces. And then we've got the more native ones where you can easily link them up with other agents and they can figure out how to use Dexter tools. And that's in the Claude, ChatGPT, and the MCP category, right? So that means we've got 3 in the native category and 4 in the, let's say, the custom agentic interface category, which means that I built it. I built the runtime in which the X, the Alexa, Telegram, and the voice agent live. I did not build the MCP, which means that you can just load it into wherever you are, Cursor or whatever, anything that can load MCP, which is advancing every day. Someday it'll be Grok, and then Claude and ChatGPT. And what the beautiful thing is that in that category where it's more native and it can be linked with other agents lives the x402jobs type of a system where again, I didn't build the interface. It's combining it with other agents, other resources, where it's linking them all together in such a way where the deeper you can go, the more foundational you can get with these resources, I think the better. So you're not trying to smash 1,000 things into one resource. You're getting as basic as you can with each one and then putting it out there for the world to consume. So where is Dexter going to go with all that, right? So we've got these 7 interfaces in 2 different groups, and that's great. And we can provide resources and use cases as quickly as I and any other developer that we hire can churn them out. And that's great. But it's time to announce, since x402 V2 is on the V2 level, it's time to announce that Dexter V2 is coming. And it's a thorough reimagining of what Dexter is and should be going forward. So right now, Dexter is the full vertical stack from facilitator, resource server, and MCP server, all the way down to agentic interfaces where those things are called and run. However, at the moment, it's all our own resources. I'm the one who has built the 37 different tools that are internal, and that includes the 7, 5, 3 that are on x402 scan, and there are maybe 10 that have significant use. So what Dexter V2 is going to be is, again, a reimagining. We're going to start from the ground up. Yes, it's still going to be completely vertically integrated. Yes, it's still going to be across Solana and Base, but now with the abilities of x402 V2, we're going to be across every chain natively. And that's not secret. That's no secret. Everybody will be, because that's the glory of V2. It's agnostic to the chain. So not only will we be able to do chains, but you'll also be able to settle in actual dollars in the old TradFi system, which I'm not really super interested in doing right now, but it's possible. More importantly, though, where do we get those resources from that are being offered? Well, right now, it's only Dexter resources offered to Dexter users, but we are going to open it up to all, not all, but all with an asterisk, a curated set. And right now, there are not that many. I can count them on 2 hands of x402 resource sets that are truly valuable. And they're all from people that we know and I talk to on a sometimes basis here and there. So it would be a permissionless basis to add them anyway, but I'm going to talk to them and work with them on a way that makes sense so we can add them on a curated basis and bring more and more and more capabilities to Dexter. But still, I do want to keep it clean until we are in a more developed x402 world, and where these agents are so smart that they can parse through hundreds of different tools and always know what to do. But reputation isn't there yet. We're getting there. So for now, we're going to keep it curated, and I think it'll be a really great time. You'll be able to flip on and flip off different sets of resources on a paid model with an interface that I'm happy to show off later. But with this winter season kind of kicking up right now, 2 weeks left in the year, I think this is a tremendous time to take a breath and rebuild for the imminent future. Because if you really look into X402 V2, you realize immediately that it requires a complete rethinking, like a complete rebuild of many existing systems. And I think a lot of people up here will agree that that's the case. So for the next 2 weeks, we will be building X402 V2 into Dexter V2. And I plan to hope to have it ready for you guys at the very, very beginning of January 2026. So with that will come more external revenue. And with that, we come closer and closer to the passing of the Clarity Act, and closer and closer to my dream of revenue distribution to holders on a pro rata basis of token share. So we'll talk about that in the distant future, but I'm very excited about all that. Let's see. X402jobs. I think that I look forward to speaking to you the most after this space, because I want to look into the schema, the input-output schema that you guys have, and see how I can optimize it even more for you guys. And then there's one thing that I really want to talk to you about, and that's the possibility of bringing an interface to some of these resources. So essentially like a UI kit, an apps kit that ChatGPT has for developers, where you can not just bring the resources in as far as input and output data, but also make them look a certain way, make it look beautiful, make it look however you want as a developer. So anyway, we'll get to that, but I don't want to get too far in the weeds. We've got a lot coming for Dexter. And in case you weren't here for the space number 1, the last thing I want to mention that's coming to Dexter is a brand new resource in the interim that's going to be available today, and that is the private pay, anonymous transfer tool, which will be dirt cheap, if not de minimis fee. You won't even notice it. So looking forward to that as well. Privacy being the hottest thing since sliced bread right now. So with the last, let's say 15 minutes that we have, because again, we have a Coinbase event that's starting at 3, a Coinbase developer, they're showing off how to integrate Chainlink into your systems. They have the Chainlink team there as well. I want to talk more about X402 V2 and what it means and what changed at the protocol level, because it really changed everything. I mean, I don't know if you guys are, Vivek, I don't know if we dropped off Vivek. Let's get Vivek back up here if he'd like to, but raw ground beef, I'm sure you have some thoughts on V2.
Yeah.
Where to begin? And I'll try to ask a more focused question.
Brother. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll start with the thing I'm most excited for is sign in with X. So being able to link an identity, being able to port your identity from thing to thing, and what that all means and how that's going to look like. So what about you? What's your
I haven't digested like everything fully. Sometimes I'll see things and then my mind starts to wander on the one thing, and I haven't really double clicked on every single thing. So like sessions and authentication and stuff like that being very exciting initially. And then just as of this morning, I sort of started to look into like dynamic payTos. So dynamic payTo addresses. So like for instance, for on x402jobs, every resource currently has to bring their own facilitator and payTo address, right? So like I can't just use the x402jobs facilitator to facilitate all the payments and take all that volume, even though that would be wonderful, because that would probably make us register high on x402 scan and get some more coverage on the product. But every resource has to bring its own. So and also that means something for reliability, let's say. So if you're a resource creator and you come on, you register a resource, it's awesome, it's killer, but your facilitator kind of sucks, I can't do anything about that. But with dynamic payTos, what that essentially means is that you can you can sort of facilitate payments for people. I think, again, I haven't like spent more than, an hour looking at this and thinking about this, but you basically have like a callback function as opposed to a address that says you have to pay to this address, or this address is going to be the facilitator. So you can sort of provide a facilitator for the resource, which that along with sessions would allow something like x402jobs to say pay once, run the entire thing, and then maybe even if it fails, we say, okay, well, we'll take the hit on that. You don't have to worry about paying everything. So quicker transactions, quicker jobs, also more reliable experience for the user, and we can sort of route and facilitate where the traffic is low, where the costs are going to be extremely low, and maybe even do cross-chain stuff. We'll see. So it's extremely powerful, like branch manager was saying, and I'm super geeked out about it. And right now we're just, we're building out the basics of x402jobs, but very quickly we'll start to focus on, right now we're, it's just like get it out there, right? Make it work, make it pretty, then make it fast. And the make it fast part will come along. And it's starting to get pretty. And so once the make it fast part comes along, we can start to look into doing some of these crazy things with V2. And by then maybe V3 will be out. So
maybe. And since the sign in with X is technically not out yet, I guess I'm calling it V2.1 that's coming out soon. But they've pretty much spelled it out, so I'm preparing for it. But what you said with the dynamic payTo is a big deal. And I think a lot of us who were building for V1 are probably thinking the same thing right now, which is, oh crap, I already built something that is now in V2. So I have to now pare back or essentially get rid of the thing that I had built to replace the V2 need, which is now filled by V2. So that's where we're at right now. I mean, we had some of these things like dynamic, we had dynamic pricing as recently as a week and a half ago, and then 2 days later, they announced, that V2 is ready. So going to get rid of our version of dynamic pricing and just implement the new one, so that way it can work across every different user of it in the future. And like you said, dynamic payTo is a big deal, because now we have this marketplace of endpoints, and you have a lot of different models that can come from that, as far as a business model for the marketplace of endpoints, and as far as being a facilitator. And there is definitely no one clear winner way yet. It looks like Coinbase has decided as just to set a ground rule of, let's say, I think it was 1,000 calls free for the month, and then each one after that is a 0.001 USDC. That's for being a facilitator. And that'll probably go down and down and down. I see competition driving it only one way. So that's an interesting thing to think about. And then, like you said, these are problems that don't even exist today as far as reliability. Well, the reliability is almost non-existent today. So yeah, it'll be great. And then the next thing that I'm excited about is extensions. They announced extensions, and I have a feeling that so much of the innovation for x402 V2 is going to come out of extensions. Discovery and identity are just two versions of extensions, but that's going to be where people have a lot of fun, and where the big business comes into play and probably makes the most out of x402 V2. In fact, I see Visa just announced today that they're going to start settling US transactions. So Visa Visa issuers, and I don't know the other term, the other counterparty to issuers, but they're going to start settling in USDC natively in the United States, which has never happened before on Solana, starting like, I guess they've already started. They said that they've already settled about $1 billion. So they did not mention the words x402 V2 or x402 at all. But if you're settling in USDC, I imagine that you might be. It might be implicit in the announcement. So if that were to be the case, imagine the attention that would come to x402 again. But let's see what else. They came out with a much better dev tooling. So now we can for paywalls. I think we'll see a lot of interesting paywall type utility. Refunding, they've still left, I think, as far as I can see, to the innovators like Vivek, which is great. But well, maybe it's not. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it's not. I'm not the expert on that. What should be in the spec and what shouldn't be. but discovery, discovery concept and the identity and the memory concept. This is where Dexter is going to have to evolve, and this is where Dexter will evolve. It's not going to be overnight, and it shouldn't be, but it will be starting 2026 with Dexter V2. And getting these relationships with you guys is a tremendous way to where we can all just stay on top of what's happening and building for each other, which allows us to bring it to users quicker, get mass adoption quicker, which is awesome. V2 also makes it heats up the facilitator competition. So you can do things like, let's say I want to pay in Solana or Base. I can accept both. I can prefer Solana. I can avoid in fact, I can use USDT if I want to. I can even pay in tokens if I want to, which is something that there's not much demand for, but is possible. And I mean, I think that's the bulk of the V2 upgrades, but it really is a big, big, big change as far as the developer perspective. You've got a lot of refactoring, some things in the HTTP methods and all that, but that's the bulk of it. That's the bulk of it. So in 15 minutes, we have an event where they're going to teach us how to integrate Chainlink processes, so on-chain Oracle processes into x402 as natively as it gets. So looking forward to mixing, maybe paying in Solana while also using Chainlink on ETH to get whatever data we're looking for. OOBE, Vivek, I don't mean to be monopolizing the stage up here. You guys have any thoughts on V2, Breakpoint, anything else that I've mentioned?
Yes, to add to your point, it's multi-chain by default, which means you can pay anybody in any asset that they would accept, which is huge because you used to only be able to pay in USDC, but now you can pay someone in XRP, Solana, which I think is ties into why Circle just developed Circle Payment Gateway. If you guys have been looking into what Circle has been doing, like they've been, they basically said you can use Payment Gateway to basically disperse payments in whatever crypto asset that the seller wants, and you can pay in whatever crypto asset you have, and have the seller paid in whatever they want, and this is through the Payment Gateway. And obviously this phenomenon already exists, through the concept of bridging, but I think Circle takes it a step ahead. Also, you're looking at the Arc blockchain, and the Arc blockchain uses USDC to be able to pay the fees. The gas. So yeah, these are exciting innovations. I think x402 is about to take new leaps, especially with these, not just with V2, but yeah, also the other thing that I read with V2 was, you can there's this news, you can basically specify an up to, where there's a pre-signed amount, and say if you have a certain amount of times where you want to process payments, but you don't want to go through a facilitator every single time, that's where the up to comes in. I've yet to take a deeper look into it, but maybe if anybody's ever if anybody has taken a look into it, maybe they can talk about it. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a big, big, big one. And it's going to radically change the game of tracking and monitoring and let's say discovering x402 resource popularity, because right now I think that, well, I think I can safely say that the way that people are finding resources is not through the discovery layer that it's supposed to be. Agents are supposed to be finding them on their own, but it's just not happening enough today yet. Until the ecosystem evolves more. In fact, the way they are doing it is going on x402 scan and now x402jobs and looking for or sorting by whatever metric is available, whether that's transactions or dollars or number of buyers or sellers, and people don't even know what that terminology means, but It's whatever sorting methodology is available. So they press sort, and then, okay, well, let's test this one, let's test that one, let's test this one, and see if I can put together a chain of resources that works together. And okay, that's how they're being found today, still by humans. So with x402 V2 introducing payTo, that's going to take the whole transaction count metric and also probably the volume metric and flip it on its head. Because if I can just say, okay, here's the allowance that I give to you to essentially spend in USDC, that's only one blockchain transaction. It's not thousands and hundreds of thousands of individual Solana transactions, which somebody is paying for that gas, whether it's the facilitator or the user. And it can be done both ways right now. But this changes the game. So how in the future are you going to track that type of stuff? How in the future are you going to measure the success of a resource? Are you going to have to get more on chain? Are you going to have to look at which ones have the highest allowances, actual throughput on chain? I don't have the answer to that. I think that's why x402 Scan, when I talked to them the other day, they're thinking wisely about how to restructure around this new world. And I think it's great because that really reduces, I can't even tell you guys how much that is going to reduce our costs. And it's fine because that's the x402 business. But being a facilitator is not raking in the money. Okay, being a facilitator until it blows up right now, and until more optimizations are made, just like this one in V2, it does now become much cheaper to facilitate. So now profitability becomes a lot easier without any additional popular resources. So, but I did get one question from somebody about what the point is of allowing the curated set of different resource sets onto Dexter. And if I didn't make that clear, that's my bad. But the answer is because they're immediately available on every interface that we have. So whether that means you can tweet at the Dexter AI agent, and now it suddenly has all the capabilities of whatever resource server we add. Let's say x402jobs or Memputer, or I'm just listing. You can name it any resource server, anyone who provides tools and resources, data of value, that becomes instantly available and native to Dexter essentially. And it preserves to your memory all the same as Dexter's capabilities do. So I'm very, very excited about that. It's a very, very easy way to extend Dexter's capabilities across every surface just by allowing somebody else to put their work on it, and essentially use our transports as a bus to take their calls and make them money, make us money, make everybody money. So looking forward to that. And the payTo scheme. So that'll take place with Dexter V2. I think I definitely ran over time with that response, but in the next, I guess we'll just close up here because again, we've got that Coinbase event to head to, but I've never been more excited about x402. I actually thought, it may take 6 months to 9 months for this to really take off. I was thinking that as recently as 2 weeks ago, and that's fine by me. I have all the time in the world, but still 6 to 9 months now feels longer than I would expect based on all that V2 is capable of today, all that's coming and how many people are jumping into it, not to mention the people who I shook hands with at Breakpoint. They are going as fast as possible, just like we are, to evolve this whole ecosystem. So soon we'll be on Avalanche, BNB, Polygon, USDC, friggin' native chains like, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we'll be native to every chain just with a snap of a finger. Very, very, very exciting times.
Can I just add to that? The other day I just read that Cloudflare is integrating x402 with Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. So it's just a matter of time until this blows up. I would say 4 or 5 months, tops.
Cloudflare is in the single best position of any entity, in my opinion, because they control the gates to every website as it is. Every website that wants free DDoS protection already has installed Cloudflare, including Dexter. We have Cloudflare, and I'm sure you guys may too. So they can easily, they're already in place where they can provide my paywall services for me. So they're in such a good position, along with Coinbase, to make this happen. I couldn't agree more. OOBE, Jobs, any final closing comments? If not, then we will close it up. Thank you guys for coming to another X402 space. Feel free to unmute if you have anything left to add. And we've got that one soul giveaway. Did not forget about that. OOBE, what's up?
I just want to say thanks for hosting this space. It was really good listening in. I'm eating my dinner right now, so I just thought I'd tune in. I'd say something and I'd listen in. I think a lot of good info has been spoken about, and good job on launching x402 jobs. Very, very successful launch.
Thanks for the shout out there. Appreciate it. And also thank you, branch manager 69. As always, thank you for being a friend and advisor. And you played a big part in x402 jobs coming to fruition. I hope you continue to join me in this journey, and I will also do the same. Please let me know if you need anything. You know exactly where to find me. I'm not going anywhere. And again, appreciate you. Looking forward to the next Tuesday.
And I will see you then. X402SDAY on the 22nd. Wait, 23rd. Yes, 23rd. So let's see. We're going to run the spinner right now. And obviously, congratulations on your immense tokens success. All right, we've got Febros 69. Febros 69. If you are here, Febros 69, throw a clap. Oh, and you follow. That's perfect. Already follow. Let me just see a clap from Febros 69, and then we will move on. If we can't get a clap, then we're gonna have to assume that he's maybe AFK. We'll get a backup winner just in case. Clap, clap, please clap. I want you to win this. Let's pick a backup just in case. Still no clap. All right, well, we're picking backup. Febros, I'll give you 5 minutes after the space ends, and the winner of the backup is Musty trophy emoji. Musty, give me a clap. Crypto, cars, real estate, some of my favorite things. Awesome, guys. Well, I've got to run, and it was a pleasure to host again X402SDAY. See you next time.
See you guys. Bye.
See ya. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.